Hey guys, it's Santi from Worlds, and it's been a little bit of a long time since I recorded my last tutorial in Worlds Builder. We've been very busy by creating a lot of different 3D websites, working on new features in the builder, and today I would like to talk about physical materials. And I'm going to be focusing on glass materials today and just really quickly show you how you can create a cool looking glass materials for your 3D projects in Worlds editor. So without further ado, I'm going to just click on my object right here. As you can see, I actually have a very basic scene with few objects in it. So the cylinder object is going to be our glass object that we're going to manipulate with physical materials. If I will hide it behind that, you have a little trainer, 3D trainer model. That is just to have something behind our glass object, so we can easily see what kind of effects are applied on our glass materials. All right, let's click on our cylinder object, make it visible again, and let's go into its materials on the right panel right here. What you're going to find now in the settings of the materials in Worlds editor is that now you have, in the very bottom of this tab, you have high fidelity option. So we just need to toggle that on, and then you will have a bunch of settings that you can apply to create more cool looking materials. In this instance, we're going to be focusing on a glass materials. So first and foremost, what we need to do to begin creating a glass material is to use this transmission settings right here. And what the transmission means is that how much light is allowed to pass through a object, or in this case material. So let's increase the transmission slowly, and you will see that our object is kind of almost like a fading away. And if we go all the way to 100, it's going to look almost transparent. You can still see the shape of our cylinder, but it's almost transparent basically in this case. Then we're going to move to a clear coat and increase slightly our clear coat. And what that will do is going to bring reflections on the surface of our glass material. And those reflections actually are produced by HDRI, so our environment light that we have already applied in this project. And just quickly, if we're going to close this setting here, go into global settings of our project and click on the environment light. I can start rotating environment light, and you will see that now our glass object is picking up all of those reflections from our environment light. So that's pretty cool, and it kind of starts to look more like a glass object depending on how we turn the actual cylinder itself to have a little bit more different reflections. But I'm just going to leave it at this and probably go back to my environment light and check. Maybe I can have a little bit different angle. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Let's leave it at that. Let's go back into our glass material here. Probably a good idea to change it to glass material as material name so we don't get confused. And what else we can do? So now in here, you have a couple more options. And one of the options that you can start experimenting with is reflectivity. And with the reflectivity, you can actually control that frosted glass look on this particular object. So if I'm going to start increasing the reflectivity setting, you will see that everything becomes more blurry, whatever is behind this object. And that is a very cool effect if you want to create a specific scenes where you have a little bit of a frosted glass elements, then you have some 3D models with colors and lights. That works really well. As you can see now in here, it looks quite interesting, and then you can experiment with the setting as well. So, like I said, very easy to use, very easy to start working with these materials. We're going to dive in a bit more complex settings in a moment, but I just wanted to show you like a very basic approach. So, reflectivity, you have this beautiful effect of frosted glass immediately when you apply this setting and change, higher or lower in this case. We can go back to 0 and we have our regular glass. Another interesting setting you can apply on your material here is thickness. And if I will, for example, 2 in here, you will start to see that it's actually distorting the look of the objects that are behind my cylinder. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to probably do like number 10, let's say. You can see that it's now quite distorted and looks quite abstract, which is potentially would be a look you're looking for in some cases, in some projects. Let's look at other controls that we have for this material. So another one that I would like to talk about is the sheen. And basically, sheen, in a very easy terms, is like a thin layer on top of your material that reflects the light. And you also can control the color of that reflection. So what we have 3 options. We have the sheen effect itself, and we can increase this. Then we have the roughness of it. So basically, the bigger the roughness, the more reflection, the more kind of coating you would add as such on the top of your material. So if I'm going to increase the roughness here, you will start seeing that, because my color at the moment is white, that it almost like a little coating that is on top of our glass material right here. And if I'm going to start changing a color, you will see that we're affecting quite dramatically, in this case, our glass material. I would probably reduce roughness to something like 25, let's say, and then just work with my color to give it a little bit more interesting look for this specific glass object right here. You can see on the sides, we're starting to see a little bit more bluish kind of reflection here. And yeah, it's quite cool to actually use this effect in some cases, because it adds those little details, make this material to look a bit more special when you're working in certain projects. I'm going to start rotating it a little bit more, so you can actually see, the effect of the sheen layer on this object. All right, what else we can do? So as we have our sheen, we have a little bit of a bluish effect on our glass. We can go back and try to increase reflectivity to create a little bit of a shifting and blurriness on our glass object, just like so. Okay, so another effect we can apply on this in this material is called iridescence. And basically what that does is that it creates a bunch of different colored reflections depending on how you're moving your object in your 3D scene. So if I'm going to increase the amount of iridescence, first of all, you're not going to see that much change, because we have just a slight shift and a little bit of a color change on the top of our object right here. And if you really want to see the iridescence effect, you need to change the refraction settings right here by just pushing this little slider to the right, and you will start seeing all of the different color changes as you move around. And then you can stop at your liking to get this really cool effect. So I think the last few points is that you can come back and change the reflectivity settings here to make the look a bit more distorted, a bit more like that frosty glass look. You can go and change the thickness to something more to have even different look, but maybe I'll just go back to 1. Sorry, maybe a bit more, like 2. So if you go back into the basic settings of roughness and metalness, you can still manipulate these settings and get slightly different looks. But if you're going to start increasing metalness in this case, you're going to be losing transmission. And probably that's not what you want. But again, you kind of can create quite a cool effect on your glass material. All right, I think I covered the basics of how to create a high fidelity or advanced material and how to create a glass material in your 3D projects. We're going to be creating more of these shorter tutorials and showing you a bunch of other features that now exist in Peachwell's editor. So follow our YouTube channel and subscribe if you like this video. Thank you.